But I want to plough on with the show as planned, and quite a shocking story now, to say the least. Britain is bending over backwards to facilitate cousin marriage in some Muslim communities. It was revealed today that an NHS Trust in Manchester is advertising for a fluent Urdu-speaking nurse who specialises in close relative marriage. They must, quote, value diversity and difference. But obviously not enough diversity and difference that someone might want to just mix it up a little bit by marrying someone outside their own family. But if the nurse needs to speak Urdu, it also implies that the cousin lovers don't speak English. So can't speak English, marry within their own family. Fantastic levels of integration there, isn't it? But they're not the only ones. A similar position was advertised at Frimley Health NHS Foundation Trust in Slough, close relative midwifery and nursing posts in Bedfordshire hospitals, and at GP practices in Bradford. Look how they chose to warn people about the dangers of having children with a relative. That's on your screens right now. So they tell us that Ruby and Adam are close relatives, and poor little Sarah has inherited all the bad genes. Gosh. Well, a study showed that 46% of mothers in the British Pakistani community in a part of Bradford were married to their first or second cousins, whilst less than 1% of white British people were married to close relatives. So it's interesting that they've chosen typical British names to articulate the study on close relative marriage there, isn't it? But anyway, bear in mind that we do have strict laws in this country now on not being able to advertise junk food on public transport. This government is looking into banning 16 and 17-year-olds from buying non-alcoholic beer in case they like the taste of it. We've got a new milkshake tax. Let's clamp down on milkshakes because sugar is bad for you. Yeah, a government-funded NHS monitoring board has told staff to stop discouraging first cousin marriage. I mean, this is despite babies that are born to cousins being, reportedly anyway, up to 3 times more likely to have genetic disorders. So why is it, do you think, that we're being told we can't discourage this? Oh, gosh, we can't discourage it. Oh, yeah, well, almost certainly because people don't want to offend the Pakistani community. I mean, they don't want to seem racist. So instead, the NHS should just employ genetic counsellors to meet the cousin couple and their relatives to advise them on how to, quote, consider arranging future marriages outside the family. Yeah, I mean, or you could just not arrange their marriages with their cousins at all. I mean, you don't have to have an arranged marriage whatsoever, do they really? But according to a YouGov poll, 77% of the British public think cousin marriage should be illegal. Only 9% think it should be legal. Now, Aisha Ali Khan, who regularly appears on this programme, is actually quoted in the Daily Mail as saying this. She said, my parents, Mohammed and Barkat, were first cousins. 4 of their 7 children were born with severe disabilities. 3 have died, one of them my twin brother, and I am a carer to my beloved older sister Tahira, who has a mental age of about 8. I also have a genetic medical condition. Look, for people who say, oh, well, the royal family married cousins, yeah, they grew out of it, didn't they? Or people who say, well, it's common in other cultures, yeah, we're in Britain now. I mean, we're already the Western capital for Sharia courts. We don't really need to be the Western capital for incest as well, do we?
This is your opportunity to take advantage of ExpressVPN and their best deal ever. Get a premium VPN with enhanced privacy, security and identity protection. By supporting ExpressVPN, you're supporting us here at GBNews. And on premium and advanced plans, you get a dedicated zero-knowledge password manager app, and coming soon, the world's first consumer AI platform built on confidential computing. This video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, couldn't be easier to use. Just click the link, download the app, connect, and you're protected. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to save up to 82% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 extra months free.
Let's get thoughts from my panel on this. We've got Tory MP for Tatton, Esther McVeigh, GBNews contributor Will Kingston, political commentator Jonathan Liss. Will, your views on the fact that the NHS appears to be bending over backwards to accommodate cousin lovers?
Well, where do we start here, Patrick? You know, there's that internet meme when they talk about how the left responds to right-wing arguments. They'll start by saying, no, this isn't happening, you're a conspiracy theorist. Then they say, well, it is happening, but it's not a problem. And then they'll go, yes, it is happening. It's not only not a problem, this is a good thing, and you're a bigot if you say otherwise. We are now at phase 3 when it comes to incest with the left. Look, you posited this earlier today when you talked this into the broader context of multiculturalism. Multiculturalism hasn't merely failed by this stage. It is now just this cynical euphemism for child abuse, for sectarian violence and for this sort of depravity. And I don't see how anyone can say otherwise when we are now bending over backwards to accommodate barbaric, backwards cultures like this. It's disgusting.
Well, what do you think, Esther?
Well, I think it's quite extraordinary, actually, that you've got sort of the health lobby who invariably is trying to ban everything, stop everything. So whether it's salt, whether it's sugar, whether it's social media, whether it's gambling, anything they think there might be a risk involved, they're trying to ban. However, this, which has a significant risk, first cousins marrying, they say it doubles, the risk of birth defects and infant mortality. And yet what they're saying is, well, we'll help you through the process. And on some bits, they're talking through, well, what could be the positive of first cousin marriages, which is sort of their integration, their social capital.
Strengthening family ties.
Strengthening family ties.
Yeah.
And this is so extraordinary because a child will suffer for the whole of their life. We've got the proof in that. Going back to 2007, we had the Born in Bradford survey. So I don't understand this double standards. One, if they deem it to be of a different culture, talking multiculturalism, well, really they should be stopping it and they should be thinking of the impact on the child, not, we will say, pussyfooting around what they call different cultures.
So, Jonathan, what do you think about the headline there of an Urdu-speaking incest nurse around the Manchester area?
I think that there are people who are doing this and it's not the job of the NHS to moralise. Certainly, you can say this has serious effects on children and it should be discouraged and people should be given sort of strong education about why that is the case. And then it's in much the same way as when people are harming themselves with cigarettes and alcohol and drugs, the NHS doesn't say, well, you've done a bad thing, we're not going to help you. It's absolutely right.
You run massive campaigns to ban it.
And I think there should...
But you actually get arrested for doing drugs later.
But I don't think it should be. I don't think that should be legal. I don't think that should be illegal. I don't think this should be illegal. I think that we can. I don't see why it helps to drag people through the criminal justice system to do something that can be harmful and that should be discouraged. I think the criminal justice system is the answer to that. But I think the NHS, we could take the morality out of it and say there are people who need help, and so the NHS needs to help them.
Jonathan, I'd have more sympathy for that argument if this doesn't implicitly endorse this behaviour. If you're going out and saying, well, we are providing support for these families who choose to have sex between cousins, you are implicitly endorsing it as a behaviour and then saying, well, to the extent that there are harms around it, we'll mitigate against those, but all the wonderful diversity benefits means that we should start, just basically saying, well, we've got the nurses available, go off and have sex with your cousin.
But don't you see the hypocrisy when we're trying to ban sugar and salt, and yet this could impact up to half of the children's being born through first cousin marriages? Don't you see the hypocrisy? They should be looking to ban that rather than salt and sugar.
To eat sugary chocolates and...
But that's what the health lobby in this country invariably do.
I don't think it should be illegal. Well, fine. Well, I don't support that. In general, I don't support banning things. I don't support dragging people through the criminal justice system for behaviour that we find difficult, problematic, immoral or whatever. And,
but it's the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy between the two stances.
I'm not the government, and I'm saying that I don't believe in banning things generally.
Surely you can see the hypocrisy, though.
I think that it is completely legitimate to say there are people who are in a difficult position, who are making decisions that we think are bad decisions, but we are still going to tell them. In the same way, Will, that presumably you would welcome the NHS offering support for people who have substance abuse issues, rather than say, well, you've done something illegal, we're not going to help you.
Sure, Patrick, I don't have a problem with treating these kids. I don't have a problem with treating these kids. I have a problem with letting people into the country who have...
I have
a problem with letting people into the country who have sex with their cousin.
No,
That's a ludicrous argument. These are people who are born here.
Well, then that begs the question, why do you need the Urdu-speaking nurse? Because, under this scenario, you wouldn't even be able to ask your cousin if she wants to sleep with you in English, would you? I mean, that's not really integration, is it?
Patrick, there are all kinds of, as I've said to you before, there are issues with integration in this country. I'm not going to pretend there aren't.
Right.
But that's a separate issue.
Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Because you've got inability to speak the language and a lack of desire to even marry outside your own family. I mean, that is, I'm sorry, but that is not integration.
No, it's not integration. And I also worry and wonder if the woman in this relationship, when you're speaking to her in Urdu with the family around, does she have, because this is about informed consent, which the woman is giving? Well, I wonder if that is the case, or if it just carries along with what, you know, the greater family has said. But I do think about the child. Who is going to look after that child, care for that child, pay for that child, have its support for the NHS for all its life, etc.? Because you should be thinking about the child's best interest, and I am, and that's why I wouldn't be having it.
That's fine, but we're talking about the very end, which is the end result of having sex with your cousin. That's fine, like the end band-aid at the end of that process, you know, I understand, doesn't remove the fact that we're still allowing people to have sex with their cousins. Now, in the US, they've created a list of countries now where they say we're going to stop immigration from those countries. I believe one of those countries is Pakistan. I don't understand why we are still allowing immigrants into this country from Pakistan when the cultures are so clearly incompatible and they are so clearly not a net contributor economically. There is no argument for it.
Well, just very quickly, Jonathan, I mean, do you want to come back to that, about the kind of cultural issues when it comes to Pakistan or net contributors or anything like that?
No, Pakistan is a member of the Commonwealth, and people from Pakistan were allowed to come to Britain in great numbers after the war, as much as because they were British subjects. Because guess what? We had actually invaded them, and we had sort of colonised that country. And, you know, people obviously from different cultures will have different norms, of course. Cultures are not the same. But I don't think throwing the baby out with the bathwater and saying, what's your end result here, Will? So deporting all people of Pakistani... What exactly are we talking about here? Why don't you say what you mean?
Cultures of this country are this, and this is the rules that we live by. I think it's quite simple.
All right. Well, GBNews asked Manchester University NHS Foundation Trust for comment, but we did not hear back. Or maybe that's because we asked them in English, but I don't know. The National Child Mortality Database said the purpose of the National Child Mortality Database is to collect data on deaths and to share our findings to improve and save children's lives. We do not instruct the NHS or its staff to practice, except where we either A, make recommendations for professionals to help reduce mortality in children, or B, inform those professionals who have a statutory responsibility to review child deaths of how best to submit information to the database. The NHS as a whole has said the NHS is clear that having closely related parents can increase the risk of inherited genetic conditions and serious illness. This role is part of a small pilot which will test whether nurses with specialist training in those complications could help save and improve the lives of more vulnerable babies targeted in an area where close relative marriage is prevalent. Right, OK.